down that building in that manner? I don't know if you've seen, the video of how the building came down.
Well, I've not seen the video closely, but I saw a glimpse of it sometime yesterday. I was involved in the implosion of the Afribank building. I witnessed it. We did preliminary works on it. He was talking about how buildings were brought down, especially in South Africa, where you have bombs at different corners. These are controlled demolition processes where buildings are made to come down the way they should come down without affecting the different
structures
around them. What I saw in the video was facing the building towards the right side. There was a tilt. It like started from somewhere on the right facing the building, and then the entire thing went down that way. That is what I saw. Now, as to what could have happened, well, investigations are still on. The federal government is carrying on investigations, so we will not particularly know for sure right now. But from his point of view, he was inside the building. It would therefore be difficult for him to have a total global overview of how the building came down, especially in 3 seconds, like he said. So that is that. But when we talk about buildings coming down suddenly, there are many causes. One, if you have sections that are not sufficiently robust to support the structure, these things will come down. When we design buildings, we design, apart from the stresses and all the others, we design for robustness. And what do we mean by that? It's that should anything happen to one of these members, there will be redistribution of loads such that you will not have a total collapse. Therefore, if your building is not robustly designed, you could have such a thing.
Okay, let me ask Mrs. Fadayomi, who's the town planner. I'm sorry. Mrs. George, I'm not matchmaking here because I remember you said you both have twins, but yes, Mrs. George, now as a town planner and someone who's been actively involved, even the chairman of Building Collapse Prevention Guild in Nigeria, being that, if you were asked to critique what has been given out as information regarding this particular building, what will be your submission?
My submission is that the information we have from the media is mainly from the reporters. Information from the professionals are being waited for, because the Building Collapse Prevention Guild have set up an investigating committee made up of members of different professions in the construction industry, and we are working on the investigations, which I cannot specifically say about now because it's years still ongoing. And as a professional, I can talk about what is supposed to happen about safety in construction, but I cannot say exactly what has happened in this particular case because investigations are still ongoing.
Okay, so, but if you're not making a submission at this point in time, what can you tell us? Critical analysis of what you've heard so far. Because someone like Anthony van der Biel, who is in South Africa, Western Cape, who came all the way to Nigeria, was right in that building and managed to escape death. And he says it's a miracle. He will not even go into the details of how he did it, but he believes it's a miracle that he survived it. What will be your thoughts on how this could have come to
My thought is that any building collapse, except it is an earthquake or is a result of flooding or a natural disaster, it is avoidable. Every collapse should be avoidable, and safety should have been taken into consideration in every aspect of construction. I understand that the building was still under construction. And when a building is under construction, certain professionals are supposed to be on ground to supervise the construction. The structural engineer, as Engineer Fadayomi has mentioned, is important to ensure that what is actually designed for, and we are assuming that there are approved building plans for that project. If there are approved building plans for that project, the architect has put in his submission, and the structural engineer has put in his submission, and subsequent investigations have been done when necessary for the site. So all these safety parameters are in place. In the process of construction, the approved building plan has to be followed by the supervision of the allied professionals on the project. Those allied professionals are supposed to be on site when the construction is ongoing.
Okay, yeah, but you mentioned a key word here, safety.
Yes, safety.
And safety being the key word that we want to home in on, was it safe for anybody to have allowed people to be dining in the same building that construction is going on?
Of course it is not safe. Nowhere in the world is safe for any type of activity to be ongoing inside the building that is under construction. It is not safe.
Okay, let me ask you, Dari, then. What's your own thought? Because Mrs. George has said it is unsafe to have people to sit in an environment where construction is going on within the building. It is not safe. An engineer has said structurally there's got to be something that must have been like a defect. No confirmation because we don't know, but it will seem like it. What's your thought as a public affairs commentator?
Well, these are professionals. And apart from looking at it from professional angle, I mean, it's clear that when construction is going on somewhere, it's not proper for people, for activities to be going such of that nature to be going under that kind of building. My own area of interest, which of course government is always, they have the oversight function of guaranteeing the security and safety of the entire populace. Well, this thing has been ongoing for so long time. Churches has been collapsing here and there. And there are bodies, agencies, which of course are supposed to approve the planning. I don't know whether such thing was approved. I don't know what they have been looking, because I've seen Governor Fashola, when the building collapsed in the Dumota here and there, I've seen them taking over, the place immediately. I'm surprised that up to now nobody has taken over TB Joshua Church. Where I'm coming to, and which of course I'm so much interested in the explanation, which of course the person you interviewed spoke about the issue of the aircraft. Up to now, I've expected the Ministry of Aviation to come out and say, okay, these are numbers of the flight that moved that very day. They are talking about whether it's military plane. Is it military plane from Nigeria or from somewhere else? Because I know if it's military plane coming to Nigerian radar, definitely the radar will pick it and they will allow that to enter Nigeria space or not. So how come is that is the only building that collapsed, even when the plane is moving around that area? These are the questions. So, and to me, I'm not blaming TB Joshua, but I will start from the professionals who approve, who are the people who design, those places. And if Temitope Joshua is culpable, well, he's a man of God, I sympathize with him, but the man of God should be arrested and face the law of men.
If he's culpable, but
yeah,
right
if
now
he's culpable, well,
investigations are going on.
To what I know, it's a criminal offense. What has happened is a criminal offense. And we've seen instances. We've seen a building collapsing in here and there, and we've seen the role which, of course, the government has been playing. And I'm wondering why, even all the visit, the president visited the place, Governor Fashola visited the place, all what they have been doing is
commiserating.
Kind of, not only commiserating, they're having an indoor meeting. And we've seen Fashola going to another places where something like that happening, insulting them, abusing them, taking over the place immediately. How come that of TB Joshua, is different? So it tells you that some people are far above the law in this country. And that's my concern. And let us look at this issue very well, because the issue of this terror attack they are talking about, to me, as a security expert, I have not seen any traces of terror or any traces of sabotage there. It's clear negligence. While we are waiting for the full report, we can look at it preliminarily and look at what happened. In the first instance, an expert just said here, when that kind of construction is going on, it's not appropriate, it's not even good for such activities to be going under that place. With what we have reading from the media, we can also differ some truth there. That place is meant to be some just two-story building, right? And there, we have agencies which are supposed to monitor what they are building. And they saw this happening that are increasing the floor, and nobody did anything about it. So it's important that we ask all this question until we not get solution to it until we stop
Mrs. George said something about, the professionals being on ground when such